Assalamualaikum and hello everyone. Today, my team and I would like to explain on the topic reproductive system. Before we start, I would like to introduce our team members first. Nur Aziha, Nur Farhana, Nur Fateh Naziha, Nur Azila, Mimi Shazwana. Let us begin with the functions of reproductive system. There are three functions of reproductive system, which are to produce egg and sperm cells, to transport and sustain the cells, as well as to produce hormones. The details on the functions will be explained throughout the video.
The structure of external male genitalia are including the scrotum, the testicle, and the penis. The scrotum. The scrotum is the sac-like structure that surrounds, protects, and supports the testicle. The scrotum is suspended from the pubic arch behind the penis and lines between the thighs. The testicles, also known as testes, are the two small egg-shaped glands that produce the sperm. These glands develop within the abdomen of the male fetus and normally descend into the scrotum before or soon after birth. The epididymis is a coiled tube at the upper part of each testicle. This tube runs down the length of the testicles, then turns upward towards the body. The spermatic cord extends upward from the epididymis and attached to each testicle. Each cord contains the vas deferens plus arteries, veins, nerves, and lymphatic vessels. The penis is the male sex organ that transports the sperm into the female vagina. The penis is composed of three columns of erectile tissue. The gland penis, also known as head of penis, is a sensitive region located at the tip of the penis, which is covered and protected by the foreskin. The sperm, also known as spermatozoa, are the male gametes or the reproductive cells. The semen is whitish fluid containing sperm that is ejaculated through the urethra at the peak of male sexual excitement. Spermatogenesis is the process of sperm formation. The ideal temperature for sperm formation is 93.2 Fahrenheit, which aided by the scrotum. The sperm are formed in the seminiferous tubules of the testicles, and from here, the sperm move into the epididymis where they become motile and are temporarily stored.
Vas deferens, also known as ductus deferens. Vas deferens is the tube that connects the testicle with the urethra. It is a coiled duct that conveys sperm from the epididymis to the ejaculatory duct and urethra. Seminal vesicles are secretory glands where it produces fluid that partly composes semen. These glands are loosely coiled structures surrounded by the muscle. It is located in pelvic region, specifically under urinary bladder and behind the prostate gland. Ejaculatory ducts are paired structures that attach to the vas deferens and seminal vesicle. During ejaculation, semen passes through the prostate gland, enter the urethra, and exit the body via penis due to reflex action. Prostate glands are located under the bladder that surround the end of the urethra where the vas deferens enter the urethra. The function of prostate gland is to secrete fluid that together with the sperm cell from testicle and fluid from the other gland to make up semen. Bulbourethral glands are pea-sized structures that are located below the prostate gland. It is also known as Cooper's gland. Bulbourethral glands are produce thick clear mucus prior to ejaculation that drains into spongy urethra. Urethra is the tube that carries urine from the bladder to the outside of the body. However, there is a different function of urethra between female and male. In male, it has additional function of ejaculating the semen.
Next is pathology of the male reproductive system. Erectile dysfunction. Erectile dysfunction is the inability of the male to achieve or keep an erection. As we can see from the picture, erection happens when blood fills the corpora cavernosa, but male with erectile dysfunction, the blood flow to the penis is restricted, causes the penis to flaccid. Spermatocele. Spermatocele is fluid-filled cyst that develops in the epididymis. The fluid is milky white color that contains sperm. It usually does not cause any symptom, but if it becomes large, it will cause pain and discomfort in the affected testicle.
Structure of female reproductive system. The external female genitalia are located posterior to the mons pubis, or also known as vulva. Labia minora and labia majora is vaginal lips that protect vulva and urethral meatus. Clitoris is an organ of sensitive erectile tissue that is located anterior to urethral meatus and vaginal orifice. Bartholin glands function to secrete a small quantity of mucus during sexual arousal and intercourse that adds to cervical mucus and provides lubrications. It is located on either side of vaginal orifice. Vaginal orifice is the exterior openings of vagina. It occupies the greater portions of vestibule and is bordered by hymen. Next is the breast. The first structures of the breast is mammary glands. Mammary glands, also known as lactiferous gland, its functions to produce milk that develop during puberty. It consists of 15 to 20 lobes. The second structure is lactiferous duct. Lactiferous duct, also known as milk duct. It carries milk from mammary glands to nipple. The structure is nipple. Nipple is the one pigmented projection in each breast. The breast milk will flow through the nipple that been surrounded by dark pigmented area known as areola. It appears rough because it contains modified sebaceous gland. Internal female genitalia located within the pelvic cavity. Ovaries is a pair of small almond-shaped organ. Is it located in lower abdomen, either side of uterus? Ovaries function to produce the gametes and produce the sex hormones such as estrogens and progesterone. Follicle is under ovaries. Follicle is a fluid-filled sac that contains the ovum. There are thousands of follicles in the inside surface of ovary. Ova, also known as egg, are the female gametes. The immature ova are present at birth and will be matured once puberty and being released once a month. Fallopian tube, also known as two uterine tubes. They extend from the upper end of uterus. The first structure under fallopian tube is infundibulum. Infundibulum is a funnel-shaped opening into the fallopian tube near the ovary. Last one is fimbriae. Fimbriae is a finger-like extensions that function to catch the mature ovum when it leaves the ovary. It is attached to the lateral end of ovary.
This is 3D image of female reproductive organ. The uterus. There are three parts of uterus which are fundus, body and cervix. The uterus, formerly known as the womb, is a pear-shaped organ with a muscular wall and a mucous membrane lining filled with a rich supply of blood vessels. It is located between the urinary bladder and the rectum and midway between the sacrum and the pubic bone. Fundus is the bulging, rounded part above the entrance of the fallopian tube. Because the fundus rises during pregnancy, measuring the fundal height in relation to the pubic bone helps determine the baby's growth. Next part is corpus. Corpus is the middle portion of the uterus. The last part of uterus is cervix. Cervix is the lower, narrow portion that extends into the vagina. The uterus is composed of three major layers of tissue, which are perimetrium, myometrium, and endometrium. Perimetrium is the outer layer, while myometrium is the middle layer and endometrium is the inner layer. First is perimetrium. It also known as uterine serosa. It is a tough membranous outer layer. Secondly is myometrium. It is a muscular middle layer of the uterus. The third layer is endometrium. It consists of specialized epithelial mucosa that reach in blood vessel. Next is vagina. The vagina is the muscular tube lined with the mucosa that extend from the cervix to the outside of the body. We will move to menstruation. Menstruation is a normal periodic discharge of endometrial lining and unfertilized egg from the uterus. It happens once a month. The average day of the menstrual cycle is 28 days. There are 4 phases of menstrual cycle. The 4 phases are menstrual phase, follicular phase, ovulation phase, and luteal phase. During menstrual phase, the endometrial lining of the uterus is sloughed off and discharged through vagina. While during follicular phase, the ovaries will secrete estrogen and stimulate the lining of uterus to receive a zygote. Next, the third phase is ovulation phase. During this phase, the mature egg leaves the ovary and travels through the fallopian tube. Pregnancy can happen in this phase. The last phase is luteal phase. In this phase, if there is no fertilization, the beginning of new menstrual cycle will occur. Menarche is the beginning of menstruation and occurs at the average age of 12 years old. Menopause is the normal termination of menstruation in the woman at the middle age. Menopause is considered to be confirmed when a woman has gone 1 year without having a period. Lastly, we have perimenopause. It is the term used to design the transition phase between regular menstrual period and no period at all. During this phase, it can last long to 10 years. And changes in hormone production can cause symptoms including irregular menstrual cycle, hot flashes, mood swing, and disturbed sleep.
Next is pathology of the female reproductive system. Uterine prolapse. Uterine prolapse is a condition where the uterus descends towards or into the vagina. This is happened due to pelvic floor muscles and ligaments stretch and weaken and no longer provide enough support for the uterus. Salpingitis. Salpingitis is an inflammation of the fallopian tube. It caused by sexually transmitted disease and bacterial infection. This condition common cause of female infertility because it can damage the fallopian tube. I guess that is all from our group. Thank you for watching.